welcome back to another episode of Sporting Max, brought to you by Bastion GRP. For all your specialist needs in recruiting, engineering and defence, go to bastiongrp.com. Now, today on Sporting Max, we have one of the hottest prospects, and I truly mean this, on the NBL free agency market currently joining us after a massive season where the Taipans climbed from the bottom of the ladder to NBL Finals and the semis. Now, he's an absolute star, Ben Ayre. It's an absolute honour to have you on once again in studio here in Melbourne. What's going on?
Not a lot, Maxie. Thanks for having me, mate. Amazing studio. And yeah, you're killing it, man. Just keep stepping up. So happy to be here and happy to have a chat.
No worries. Thanks so much. Now, I saw you went to the Air movie premiere the other night. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. Hold on one second.
From
the get-go. Yeah, I did. I went with Jono Hansford. Yeah, who's been training me a little bit here and there. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was an awesome movie. And yeah, it was a cool event by the NBL. So, I mean, why not, right? I'm in the off season down here in Melbourne.
Were you the only player at that premiere?
Yeah, I think I was.
Yeah,
I think I was.
Because then I'm like, is Ben the only player there? I'm like,
I actually didn't get invited at all.
Really?
No, it was through. They invited Jono.
Yeah.
And then Jono just asked me to come with him. So I was actually a plus one. I wasn't invited. Yeah. So there you go.
Now, obviously, back in Melbourne for a few months before obviously scouting and testing out the free agency market at the moment. I want to get into the back end of that season and back end of NBL 22, start of NBL 23, obviously being close to the bottom of the ladder. What was that like? And Adam Ford seems like a great bloke who knows how to rally the troops heading into a season. Yeah,
definitely. Well, it was funny, like NBL 22 for me, like I was pretty distant. I wasn't distant from the team, but obviously being a training player, like I'm around the guys every day training and whatnot, but as you know, they travel, I'm staying back in Cairns. So there's a lot of things you miss here and there. And even when they were playing games, you know, I wasn't sitting on the bench. I was just in a polo shirt, like in the back.
In the back row.
In the back alley.
Yeah.
I was out the back. So, you know, I was a little bit distant from the team, but so I probably didn't feel the wins and losses as much as the group did. But obviously towards the end of the year started playing and really for me it was just like a massive opportunity. Obviously we've talked about it a little bit before, but yeah, even then, you know, feeling the wins and losses for me wasn't a huge thing because I don't think we could have, by the time I started playing, we couldn't make finals. So yeah, I was just kind of going out and balling, just like free conscious. And just
you talk about that. You talk about that opportunity, and I think it was the game at John Cain Arena against Melbourne United, where everyone was blown off their seats. They're like, "Oh my goodness, Ben Ayre's arrived!" And I think if you know basketball, you scouted you know that that's what you can produce, and you just showed everyone what you can do. I think the stats said it was yourself, Bryce Cotton, and one other player only that whole season who had the stats that you had that night.
Yeah, Jalen Adams.
Yeah,
from Sydney. So 20 and 10. That was a great game, man. It was obviously a huge confidence booster for me. I think I'd had a couple games before that, like not numbers wise that were crazy, but obviously I was starting and I was really starting to get a feel for the game and the pace and the rhythm and the different guys I was playing with. Felt comfortable shooting the ball. The game before that, we actually went down and played in Perth. I didn't have a great second half, but the first half was the first time I'd ever felt like truly comfortable in that position and in this league. And I mean, like you get a lot of confidence going against Bryce if you can get a bucket on him or if you can stop him one possession, you know, you can gain a lot of confidence from that, him being obviously the best player of probably the best of the decade, I guess. So yeah, there was a few games leading up to that United one that probably no one really noticed, obviously us being on the bottom of the ladder. And no one really
doesn't really get spoken about.
Yeah, and no one knowing who I am, you know, so didn't really get talked about. But there was a lead up to that game, and then just being from Melbourne, man, family in the crowd. I don't know, it's just everything kind of aligned that game, and played a lot of minutes, and yeah, had a bit of trash talk with some other guys on the other team, so that kind of got me going as well. And yeah, I was able to put that game together.
Now there's a sense in the league. We had the semi-finals clash this year of possibly the two biggest trash talkers in the league, and that's between yourself and Sean Bruce. Yeah. You two were going at it a bit in a few games. What was that like?
Yeah, it was good, man. It's fun. I love trash talking, you know. I think it's a part of the game. There's definitely lines that can be crossed, but I try to stay away from that and just keep it pretty witty, keep it as funny as possible, but obviously serious. Like, end of the day, for me, trash talk doesn't really distract me from the game and the game that I'm trying to focus on. I can kind of talk trash and concentrate on my role during the game, whereas I think some of the guys that I target or try and go against necessarily can't do that. So while I'm not worrying about what's going on with us trash talking, I kind of hope that they're worried about, they're like, oh, you just told me this or told me that. And now like someone like Derek Walton, for example, in that series, like I was just trying to get him to concentrate on me versus concentrating on
any other blokes.
Or running their team and trying to score and stuff like that. So that's really the aim of it. And Brucey's good too, man. Brucey's pretty funny on the court. He keeps it pretty light as well. So yeah, we had a lot of banter. It was fun. It was real fun. He actually sent me a message after the game, after the series had finished. Just kind of like a respect thing, just saying So that was a cool moment. But it's always all love and respect between those guys. But I'm coming for that top spot. I've heard Brucey's the number one trash talker in the, like,
he is.
But
I was talking to DJ Vasiljevic, and
I don't really know.
And I said to DJ, I'm like, is Sean Bruce the number one trash talker in the league? He's like, you already know it, man. He's like, of course he is.
Yeah,
like
fair.
who else have you experienced? A bit of trash talking. Who do you think's the number one trash talker?
I think me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, Brucey's been doing it for a long time,
Yeah.
and I haven't done it for a long time. But I'm definitely putting myself up there. One. Who else? I mean, someone like who is good?
Does CG talk any trash on the court? Or is he?
I haven't heard too much from him. I had that one thing in the game, but that was more me instigating it. So I can't really say that he's not out there just talking trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, I'm not really sure. It's normally me instigating it, and then I get return from guys. So I wouldn't really say too many other guys are out there talking trash. Brucey's definitely talking trash. The quality of it, that's up for discussion.
Yeah. What about your quality of it? Is that all right?
Yeah,
compared to Brucey's.
I think mine's good. I think mine's pretty good. I like mine. I mean, Taj, from a teammate standpoint, like playing with Taj, his is pretty good because he can just back it up. Like like especially at training, like he'd just be killing us, and then now he's talking trash. So it's hard to like kind of respond to that. Like if you're losing.
But does that give you a rise as a teammate to want to be better?
Yeah, for sure. Training. I mean, that's why our trainings were so good, I think. They're just so competitive. And, I mean, I learned a lot of trash talk from Taj too. So, I'd say he's probably up there. Man, I can't think on the spot right now. I should have come prepared for that.
So can you take me inside one of Adam Ford's training sessions in NBL23 and what that was like?
They were pretty similar, every day, but he was really good, I think, at managing like bodies in terms of like health. So if guys are sore, they're still making sure they're still training and getting reps in, but maybe not to the degree of some other guys who are playing less, which I thought was a great thing. But just really competitive, man, intense. We kind of got from the get-go. It was a good group where I don't think 40 really had to coach effort, had to coach intensity of training too much.
Well, from the outsider's perspective, it looked like there was a mutual respect and 40 had that trust in you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And, he built that from day one. Obviously from the guys the year before, he had built some trust there. And then throughout with this group, it's kind of, I mean, I feel like everyone really bought in from day one. So, and like a lot of hoopers on the team, a lot of guys who just want to come in and like basketball is what they want to do. It's not a job. It's not really a job for them. So, guys would just come in and like want to compete and want to be intense and want to talk trash in training. And then as soon as we take it off the court, it's all cool, we're all sweet. So I think a lot of our success was from that. But I mean, we played a lot, like a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of shooting, a lot of competitive shooting drills. Yeah, it was awesome. It was good vibes.
So first, I guess, day of preseason when you come in, was there a discussion around the placing from last season and the mechanics of the team and things like that and how you guys wanted to improve?
Yeah, I mean, get off the bottom of the ladder. That was pretty much the conversation, man. Like,
was finals in the conversation then, or was it just like, let's just try and work our way up the ladder step by step?
Nah, finals. I think championship was the get go. I think we'll pick last. We'll pick 10th by most of the experts, if that's what you want to call them. and yeah, we'll pick 10th, we'll pick 9th. I think some guys had us, but from the get-go, like, I don't think anyone really knew what DJ was about, DJ Hogue.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knew how good he was going to be. I don't think people...
What was that like when you see him rock up to the first training?
Man, DJ's like, he's like an alien, bro. He's like 6'8", like 240. He'll hate me saying 240, but nah, he's like 6'8", 240, like, but can move like he's, like he's my size, and he's just like shoots the ball, like he's got a really pretty jumper. Great guy, quite like pretty quiet, but just goes about his business, man, and gets it done day in, day out. Like just chill guy, easy to be around. Yeah, but yeah, going back to that, I don't think people thought Keanu was going to be able to sustain what he did towards the end of the back end of 22. He clearly did that. And then I think the bench mob, the bench guys, I just don't think we really had, no one really knew who we were, people kind of knew my name, but again, I don't think they would have thought that I could sustain or even improve on what I did the year before. I think there was a lot of questions around me in the off season, and
because you were sort of, the signing came late, didn't it?
Yeah, it came late. It came pretty late. But again, that's just kind of how it works a little bit. And I think coaches are going to do the due diligence on, they're going to recruit everyone they can. And if there's no rush to really sign a guy, they're going to see how you do in NBL 1, and they're going to not wait, but they're going to be watching you closely. But no one's going to just jump in and make a decision right away. So that's probably the reason why the signing came late. But yeah, then again, with our group, man, like we got like Majuk Dang coming off the bench, which is like crazy, Just a guy who's been in the league for a long time, great guy, veteran, can score the ball, like lat man, like that's my guy, man. He didn't play really all year at all, just DMPs after DMPs, and then comes into the playoffs and is like 6, 7, pretty much our sixth man in the playoffs, and like super comfortable. But he could have done that all year. He's that type of player, and no doubt he'll continue to do that in his career. Jonah had a big game in game 2, stepped up massive for us. Was that game 2 or game 1? Game 1.
Game 1, yeah.
Game 1.
And then Chase Buford sort of shut him down. And I think, could you compare that in comparison to your own story, in terms of the season prior to that? If people had seen the work you'd put in prior to that, not to make judgments, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, for sure. I was a little bit out of the loop with that, with Chase and Jonah, like what happened. So I don't think it was too much. And I think from Jonah's behalf, I don't think he was really trying to make it a thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's good for media and stuff, and like hypes it up, which is awesome, man. I think, to be honest, I think we need more of that. And like in Australia, there's a bit of this, or in compared to America, like Americans are, whether
all the NBA players are on the Twitter.
They're on Twitter, yeah. They're on socials. They're talking a lot of junk, and even other sports like UFC, for example, is probably the main one where they're just like they're hyping up fights by talking a whole bunch of junk. Yeah. And then you come to Australia, and it's just like I think the smallest thing on Twitter or anything, we just
blows up
in a good way. But I think the media try to attach to that for a good reason, to like hype the game up. But I would like to see a little bit more like players actually just buying into that and talking trash, whether it's on social media or in person or whatever. I think Kuat Noi, he did it in the off season in NBL 1 when I was playing up in the north. Yeah. Just talking junk, man, on Instagram, like tagging the other team in it, like we're gonna whoop your ass, this and that. And like he kind of backed it up, or not kind of, he backed it up, and he even did it a little bit, I think, in our series. He put some stuff out there, and like Kuat's like the quietest guy, man, like super cool, super chill. In person, like nicest guy ever. Won't say too much in a game, but I think he just understands. Like he's a little bit step ahead than people. Like it gets eyes, it gets attention. So yeah, maybe we can see a little bit more from that. Maybe I'll do it a little bit next year. Maybe in the off season this year.
A bit of NBL 1.
Yeah, NBL 1. Just why not try it out? But So. Yeah, the Jonah stuff was cool. It was fun. Yeah.
So you guys started off round 1 with a 22-point win over the high-flying Tassie Jack Jumpers. Everyone was high on the Jack Jumpers. They're coming forth, and super low expectations of you guys. What was that like to gain some confidence heading into the season and set the bar high?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I think we just put the league on standby like right away, and everyone was like, okay, these guys are for real. We didn't just beat them by 1 or 2, we went down there and beat them by 20. And And obviously to beat Tassie in Tassie is always pretty tough. The crowd down there was rocking opening night. Always got sellouts down there. So, yeah, it was a big win for us. But, again, man, like we kind of knew that from the get-go. That wasn't a surprise for our team at all. I think it was a surprise for the league. But, yeah, like for our team, it was just like, cool, next day.
Next game.
Yeah, just next game. Just another day, really, for us. Yeah.
Now, a monstrous season personally from yourself. At times, it was difficult for yourself and the team, but, obviously helping lift the Taipans through stages where you were there without Tajir McCall or Shannon Scott and Keanu Pinder, and there was big blows in terms of, are they going to make finals, are they not? And then you guys clinched that finals berth. And was there any discomfort during the season surrounding the guys at that stage, around you guys and the core group and the bench group that had to step up in the absence of Keanu?
Was there any what? Sorry.
Discomfort?
Discomfort?
Yeah.
Like, were we...
Like surrounding the chances of making finals where you might have had Shannon Scott out there for a bit.
Sure.
I think he did his ankle.
Yeah. I don't think discomfort. I think we would have had one meeting throughout the year where, because we'd been sitting kind of second, third, around that top for quite a while. And then there was a time, I think we dropped 2 in a row. And it was like, if we drop the next one, we go from like 3rd to like 7th.
Yeah.
Or something ridiculous. Like the ladder was that tight. So I wouldn't call it discomfort. But yeah, there were times we had our backs against the wall. We take a loss. Then we dropped to 7th or blah, blah, blah. But we didn't really we never really dropped below.
By the end of each round.
Out of the 4, pretty much the whole year. But again, like we kind of wanted that story anyway of like having I think our backs against the wall was just our identity as a team. Like from round 1, we were told we're going to come last. So it's like from the get-go, our backs against the wall, and no one's expecting anything from us. And then you get to the top and you're like sitting around 2nd and 3rd, and now everyone expects us just to drop back down. They were just waiting for us to, all right, when are the Taipans going to crash down? When are they going to start losing? Blah, blah, blah. Guys go out, like Keanu goes out, and everyone's like, nah, I don't really know. Like if they're going to be good. Specifically, I'm pretty sure Liam
Santa Maria.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was pretty low on us at that point. But again, man, it was nothing. It was nothing for us. It was just like, all right, Keanu's out, so now like we just move direction and we focus on how we can play without him and what advantage we can now have with him not in the team. Obviously he's a massive loss, but I think after that you kind of saw DJ pick it up. Just getting more touches naturally. We're going to him more. I think I started playing more minutes. I started feeling comfortable. Taj started feeling comfortable scoring the ball. Shannon was great all year, to be honest. I think from day 1 to the last day, Shannon was just like ultimate pro. Played his role perfectly. But yeah, guys stepped up. And Sammy, of course, Sammy Wardenberg. Man, he was huge
incredible.
for us. Yeah, incredible. And man, yeah, he's got a bright future, that kid.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what was that like for yourself? Obviously, I guess your main sort of role throughout the team for most of that seat of NBL23 was dishing and diming and being an instructor and playmaker on the court. What was that like for you?
It was good, man. It was a challenge at times. Like I think I went up and down quite a bit throughout the year, but just trying to stay steady, concentrate on what my role really is, which was like, get guys involved, make sure DJ, Keanu, those kind of guys are getting their touches, and then just trying to like pick the culture up around the team. I think like in the locker room, be a really good locker room guy.
Yep.
Come in every day, whether I'm playing or not playing, make sure I get my work in. Just don't sulk, all those sorts of things. So for me, man, I was just concentrating on that, and I knew things were going to change, whether it was play more minutes or just start playing better than what I was at the start of the year. And yeah, it all kind of turned around for me.
So it was the first finals or semi-final series that you'd ever been a part of as a professional. What was that like? Game 1, you show up, Kudos Bank Arena, and the roof's blown off the joint.
And I had 0.
That's all right. At least you get a couple of assists and things like that.
Yeah. No. It was good. Yeah, it was exciting, man. I mean, especially a series, I think, because like grew up watching the NBA.
Yeah, because you just had clean sweeps them throughout the series in the regular season.
Had we?
Yeah, I think it was.
No, we lost them once.
I think it was 2-1 maybe.
2-1, yeah. Kawhi hit that 3 on the buzzer.
Yeah.
Killed me. Killed me. But yeah, like watching the NBA, it's like always playoffs is always a series.
Yeah.
Like I know it's 7 games, which is longer than our format, but I think it was just exciting to the fact that you get to see a team 3 times in a row. You travel in between. Kudos Bank is an amazing place to play at, like an NBA style arena. And then, man, like game 2 going back to Cairns, it was like rocking, which is awesome to see. It was awesome to see the convention center, just like that many people in there and that loud. I think a lot of people. There was a lot of hate for Sydney, which was cool. Which it just makes it, it just makes the environment so much cooler to play in. And then you go back to game 3 again, and travel back to Sydney, go to play in Kudos again. We actually travelled after game 2, and game 2 was pretty heated. Like I think you remember. I think
Was that the game you and Brucey were going back and forth each other?
Yeah, me and...
Because I remember a scene, like the camera shot to you guys, and I think you've got your back to Brucey, and he's just like, he's like a little, it was like a little woodpecker. He was just chirping at your back.
Well, I think something happened between. I don't really. This one, funny enough, wasn't really.
It was a bit of a hustle.
It wasn't really me.
Yeah.
I don't think I actually started it. Probably for once. But nah, I think Angus said something to me or. Something happened. I think I might have gone to shoot a layup or a shot and someone blocked me. Someone said something and then I just wasn't really having it. So me and Angus kind of said, and then Brucey just like comes out of nowhere. And there was a few guys involved, but it was just chirpy the whole game, chippy the whole series, which was awesome. But we actually, after that game 2, we go back to Sydney game 3 and we were on the same plane as Sydney.
As the Kings.
Yeah. And like,
what was that like?
The seats were kind of like mixed up a little bit. So like Brucey's sitting like 2 rows in front of me, and like a few guys were sitting kind of next to each other from different teams. It was a bit odd, but
what was the environment like? Was it like hostile or like silent the whole way?
Nah, it was. I mean, plane's obviously silent anyway. You just like once the plane takes off, you're in your own world, like headphones or a book or something like that. But nah, it wasn't hostile. Like just like little head nod when you walk past a guy from the other team or something like that. But no, nothing crazy. Like everyone, again, I think everyone's got a lot of respect for each other and they understand like we're just competing in the game and in the series. So it was just funny. It was just funny.
Did you know you were on the plane with the Kings until you got to the airport?
I think we knew. I think we found out. Someone told us the night before that we were flying at the same time. Or 40 gave us a heads up, I think. So, yeah, we knew.
Yeah. Now, it was so great to see the Cairns community get around you guys. You were at the front page of every newspaper. Mm-hmm. First thing you saw on TV, last thing you saw on TV in Cairns. Mm-hmm. What was that like? You mentioned it was a crazy environment to play in at the convention centre. What was that like to see the community get around you guys? Yeah,
it's good, man. I think they've been like that for quite a while up in Cairns. When they're having success, they really get around them, which is awesome for that community. Obviously, there's no other sport up there. I think they got the Cowboys in Townsville. Mm-hmm. I see a little bit of that around. I don't know anything about rugby, so couldn't tell you. But yeah, no, it's great, man, and it's. I think just like even going to get a coffee in the morning type of thing, and people know who you are, or they're saying, good luck for the game, and you can kind of create relationships with the community when it's still a really, really big community, mm-hmm. but like you start to kind of learn some of the fans and know who they are and learn about them as people, which is kind of weird to say. Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was awesome, and obviously for us to have success and bring success back to Cairns, it was awesome to be a part of that group.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what are you here down in Melbourne for? Obviously, the club chose not to. That was a club option, not to re-sign you for NBL24. So obviously, back in Melbourne, seeing family and friends and things like that.
Yeah, grew up in Melbourne. Haven't been back for like longer than a month for quite a while. Like I've been, college for the 4 years. You come back for a little bit in between, and then. I went to Lithuania for a little bit, and then I was at Adelaide as a DP, and then I was back for a little bit in COVID. But COVID, you're not really around people or mm-hmm. friends or family. And then I've been in Cairns for the last 12, 13 months. So I got 2 little nieces, so 2 little girls. Just trying to spend some time with them, mum and dad, obviously, and brothers and sisters that I've got, or brother and 2 sisters. So just spend time around them, school friends, and then. Gonna play NBL 1 down here. So
Who are you playing with?
I don't think too many people know, but I don't think it's a big deal that I say. So I'm playing for Sandringham.
Yeah. Sabres.
Yep, for the Sabres, which is like my junior club.
Yeah.
I played there, or I played at McKinnon, but played at Sandringham for under 18s.
Yeah.
And a little bit of youth league in 20s. So I'm living like close by. My parents live near Sandringham. My brother lives there. So it's just easy, man. I'm just living in like a little bit of a bubble out there that way. And yeah, it's just a good fit for me. Just why not, go back to the junior club, go back to the roots.
First training session with the guys was today. What was that like for you? Obviously, I think they've been training a little while now for NBL1 South.
Yeah, they've been training a little bit. Round 1 is this week.
Yeah.
So I'm not playing round 1 or 2. Just like rehabbing my body, just getting a bit healthier. Just make sure I'm 100%. I'm pretty much at 100% right now. Close to, but just being cautious. But yeah, training today was great. Great group of guys. A few NBL guys in there, which is awesome. A few young guys that have some really bright futures, which is great to see. Sandringham still producing guys like that, and then still a few local guys who I knew from back in the day as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great group of guys, man, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, your junior career, have you changed much as a player since obviously those McKinnon days? What were you like then as a player compared to now?
That's a good question. I've never really thought about that, but I think I'm pretty similar. Like I've always been like a bit of white line fever, like a lot of trash talk. Again, but play style wise, like same, man. Like a lot of like high pick and roll stuff. Got the ball in my hands a lot. Trying to be a leader as much as I can, keep improving on that. I think as I've gotten older, I think I've really improved my scoring ability. Being able to shoot the ball at a consistent rate and consistent percentage over my career. And just like finishing, obviously I've gotten stronger since being like a little kid. I was a bit of a late bloomer physically, I think. So like I really didn't grow into my body up until I was probably like 22, 23, 24 even, So like I'm only just coming into it now. And that's probably why like my first real game in the NBL, I was 25, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why. But yeah, man, just stronger. Can score the ball better, I'd say, from a younger age. And obviously IQ and just being around so many different guys in the NBL, just learning so much. So I'd say I'm a lot smarter as well. But overall, not too much different.
Did getting that first opportunity in, an actual NBL game at the age of 25 give you a great sense of appreciation for where you are?
Yeah, man, definitely. And appreciation for the journey, I think. Like, you kind of think back to so many days where it's just like, this is not going to happen, or yeah, you just don't really know. I was in Lithuania for probably 4 or 5 months. Like, didn't speak a lick of that of Lithuanian, and not many people over there spoke English. So like a lot of.
Did you have a personal translator?
Nah, yeah, no. Google my phone. Yeah. But just a lot of days, man, where it's like, what am I doing over here? Like the NBL it just seemed so far away from me. And I'd been in the NBL system with Adelaide as a development player. I didn't get much opportunity there at all, really, to play. So it was just like, man, maybe I'm out of this system, and maybe I'm not. But yeah, and then once you eventually hit it, it's funny though, because the first game I played, I was still a training player, like still unpaid, like training player. So yeah, it was amazing, but like my goal wasn't to play a game in the NBL. Like my goal was to get a contract, have a long career, and like continually just keep building and building and building till I can be, one of, if not the best point guard in Australia, and be a starter on an NBL team. And like, so that journey is like still going, but at the same time, you have to reflect and look back. So when I was playing that first game, it was, I think it was just gratitude for the journey that I've been on, for the people around me, and just, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah,
absolutely. So with no contract at Cairns for NBL24, is Melbourne a place you'd be looking to stay?
Yeah, I mean, of course, having family here, like I would, it'd be cool. But I think right now it's just a lot of that stuff just ends up being out of the players' hands, and I just really trust my agent, and all that stuff, and I just have to focus on what I can focus on, which is like those goals I said before. I just got to get better each day. Just chop wood, carry water, pretty much. just every day, man, just working, keep trying to get my body better, healthier, get better every day.
What's the NBL one provide? Obviously, there's that opportunity for improvement. What's that like to, obviously have that opportunity to be a starter? I think you averaged almost 30, 35 points a game last year.
I wish. I was averaging 30 at the start. I think I averaged 24, 23, 24 last year.
So you get that opportunity to, I guess, be a starter and have a big impact on games.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can show you have so much more of the ball in your hands, at least like for a lower level NBL guy or a guy who's trying to get into the NBL.
Yeah.
Normally you're probably a starter at the NBL 1 level and you're just getting reps, you know what I mean? You can show coaches and teams what you can really do when you play a bulk of minutes. And it's a professional league, there's a lot of good competition. So yeah, NBL 1, it's a good step. It's not the only step and it's not the only direction you can go to get into the NBL, but it's definitely one that works.
So obviously having that opportunity in Adelaide, then headed over to Lithuania. What was Lithuania like for you? That whole, I guess it would have been a surreal experience, I guess.
It was a surreal experience, man. I think just going over there was it was crazy because it was the middle of COVID. So first I'm flying over there, like you got the big thing, the shield thing on your face when you're flying, the mask and everything. I'm like, man, what am I?
Did you have the big bodysuit?
What am I doing? Nah, I didn't. Thank God I didn't have the bodysuit. But I saw groups of people flying with the bodysuit, and I'm like, man, please don't put me in that thing.
Yeah.
But that was just the flying compartment and then component. And then once I actually landed in Lithuania, I landed in Latvia, which is the country right next to it. And this guy's like messaging me on this weird app that I hadn't even no idea. He just told me to download it. And it was the coach. And he was saying that like someone was there to pick me up, like a taxi. But I thought it was going to be the club or him that was there to pick me up. So like I got to cross the country, the border of Latvia and Lithuania to get to the hotel that I was staying at. And this random guy was just like staring at me in this taxi, basically. Puts my bag, like grabs my bags, puts it in, doesn't speak any English. But I'm like showing him my phone, like, yeah, this is definitely the guy, right? I'm definitely the guy. He's like, yeah, this is the guy. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get in the car. There's just another random lady with me. No idea who she is. Like, nothing to do with basketball, the club or anything. And we're in like this Kia like Carnival, which is like a family car, like a mum's car type thing, sports cars. I mean, soccer car, soccer mum's car.
Soccer mum's car.
There we go, I got there. And we're doing like 120 kilometers in the pitch black at like midnight and just crossing the border of Latvia, man. Like I'm thinking this car's the whole time I was so intense. I look over, the lady's like asleep in the car. And this guy is just like cruising 120, just booming it, man. Like on his phone, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like a 2-hour drive. I was like for sure thinking, I'm like, I got nothing on my phone either. No Wi-Fi, no data.
So you can't even message the coach.
Nah,
like, hey,
I would have
texted.
If I could have texted, I would have probably texted my family and said, I love you guys. Because that's how bad it was. But anyway, we eventually made the hotel somehow. I got there and then like...
What time did you get there?
Man, 3 a.m. But thank God I had an assistant coach waiting for me there, which his name was Simus. He was actually the man. I still am in contact with him a little bit today. He was the one that could speak a little bit of English and translated some stuff to me. But yeah, he was waiting for me. Hotel was okay. It was just freezing, man. Like freezing all the time, dark, gloomy. The league I was playing in, I had no idea about it. Basically, man. So
completely different style to NBL, right?
Oh yeah, completely different style. Like basketball's like religion to them over there, so they're just very faithful to like running sets. Just running a lot of sets. Not too much fast break basketball. Not a whole lot of like this individual is scoring this many points today. Like it's everyone's split, and they change the starting lineup every game.
Yeah.
So sometimes you start, sometimes you come off the bench. And I think the thing with overseas, at least for me, like you're playing games, but no one back in Australia is noticing, like they would have no idea that you're playing a game. Like even my family would be like, oh, you just played last night, or you know what I mean? So it's just like...
Because the time zones are completely out of whack and things like that.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So it's just like, it's such a, like just a weird thing to try and wrap your head around, because you're playing this game that you love, but you're playing in a whole other country. No one knows you're even playing. Like, yeah, it was crazy, man. But I ended up being there 4 or 5 months. I definitely struggled quite a bit, just with like being in my room, because again it was COVID over there too, so such like unknown times for their country just as much as our country. Like things were closed. Not that there was much to do in the city I was in anyway. But again, that comes back. I think I do actually credit quite a lot of that time probably to my success now that's happening. Just because I was able to just have so much time to myself and just really like concentrate on like, one, is this really what I want to do? And if I do want to do it, then you got to really do it. Like you really got to buy in, put your time into it. And there was really nothing else for me to do other than to go from my hotel to training, come back, go back to the gym later, work out, shoot, get reps up, come back, shower, eat, and then sometimes even at night go back again and shoot. You know what I mean? So like I'm just basketball all day, every day while I was over there, whilst I was working on myself in terms of like whatever it is, like meditation stuff you can do that I was doing over there. And yeah, it was just, I think looking back now, as much as I hated the time, I probably wouldn't be where I am without it.
Is mindfulness and meditation a big thing of players' curriculums and daily activities now?
Yeah, I think so. I can't talk for too many. Players around there, but some guys close to me that I know practice certain meditation, and but I think it's just each to their own. Like for me, I do it daily.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the morning, some guys just do it just before games and use it as a tool to calm themselves before the games. But I think it's really just finding what works for you, what works, and basically just implementing it into your routine where you can. So yeah, some guys definitely do that, and for me, it's massive.
What's your game day routine? Get the headphones on and pump the beats.
Pump the beats, man. Yeah, I'm a big headphone guy. Pre-game, post-game, everything, man. I've always got headphones on. So it's nothing crazy. I'm not too superstitious, I don't think.
Special meals, game day or day before?
No special meals. No. I used to be really bad at taking naps. This year I started taking naps occasionally, and that helped when I could. So I'd go to shoot around in the morning, just make sure I get my reps in outside of our scout. Well, after we finish scout, make sure I get some shots up. Most guys do though. Then go home and I'd try and eat and then nap right away. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Then I'll wake up from nap, have a coffee. That's probably the one routine. I have a coffee in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then yeah, man, just get the headphones on, and then game day routine in terms of like warming up, ball handling, all that stuff. Yeah, and just slapping beats, man, like you said.
What's the process and systems like in terms of running sets and specific plays and things like that under Adam Ford? Is it, because obviously we've seen Tajir McCall get involved on TV with these discussions at timeouts and quarter times and things like that. And it looked very much so
like
50-50 player-led.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his timeouts he wanted to be player-led. Taj was like a big voice for us in the locker room and like super high IQ guy, so has the right to talk and say a lot of things. Same with Shannon. Shannon didn't speak as much as Taj, but every time he spoke, you know, he made sure you listen. He's saying something good. Same with DJ. Yeah, but yeah, it was player-led timeouts occasionally, but you know, 40, like he's in full control the whole time, so when he's got something to say, he's going to make sure he gets that point across. But if, you know, he used to always say to us, like, we're the ones out there playing. So you guys can discuss amongst yourselves what you guys are seeing out there, and then he'll have his input. And it's just like a group project in the end of the day.
Yeah, some big games this season. 20 points against the Kings and the Bullets and 16 against United. I think it was the last game of the regular season, maybe, against the Kings where you dropped 20 on them. What's that like to find consistency across the season?
Yeah, it's good, man. I was up and down a lot at the start of the year with minutes and even just my performances. So yeah, I think that I hit a little patch throughout in the middle of the year there when Keanu went down and we played Adelaide on New Year's. We had that big comeback, and then we went and played Illawarra, and then and then we went and played Brizzy, and I had 20 against Brizzy. Yeah, but I had a nice little patch there where I felt comfortable, and then finished the year with the 20 game. That was in game 3 against Sydney, but just feels good, man. Like just trying to feel comfortable and really find myself in like a flow state where I'm not really thinking to make decisions, if that makes sense. Like I'm just
instinctual.
Very instinctual, yeah. Things are just happening and the game's just coming to me. And pretty much all those games you mentioned, I was in that state most likely the whole game. Or not the whole game, but majority of it.
Yeah.
And it just, it feels great. It's a hard feeling to explain, but the game just feels easy. You're not really thinking, and it was good.
When you're in that zone, what does it feel like, and the senses around you when you feel like every bucket's just going to go in?
It's cool, man. It's like it's the reason why you play at least for me, that's a lot of the reason why I play the game. Whether it's like you're in a scoring zone, or sometimes you're in a zone where different reads, like passes and this and that, are just like feel easy and they just come in natural. But yeah, it's a little bit of an out-of-body experience, to be honest. I'd probably say the best one for me was when we went to Illawarra and I had 15 in the first quarter. And then I had no points after
But that was a big game. It was like first quarter. It's like, oh.
Yeah, we were down in the fourth quarter too. I mean, in the first quarter, we're in a bit of a hole. So for me, I was just like, man, like this is a good opportunity for me just to go see.
He's a green light player. Just give him the green light, let him shoot.
Basically, like, let me just get on the rim, I got a couple easy ones early. And I just started to feel good, like got my second wind like pretty quick in the game. And everything just felt really easy, man. Everything was just opening up. And like, you just kind of can't really see much other than like I can't hear the crowd. I can't see the crowd.
Can you ever hear the crowd in games?
Yeah. I'm talking about when I'm in that state.
When you're in that state and
when
you're
I'm in that
zone.
state, like I can't see the crowd. I don't even know they're there. Like I can barely see my bench.
The music.
Yeah, I'm probably waving off 40 half the time. I'm pretty sure that game he's trying to call a play. I'm like, nah. But he's good, you know. He's good at recognizing when a guy's hot. Like, kind of just let him flow into it. So yeah, it's a bit of an out of body experience. Is the best way to explain it. But I just feel light, man. I feel like a feather. Like you're just playing. Every shot feels great. Don't have to overthink anything. And yeah, just rolling.
Did you go for any NBL team growing up?
Not really. I've always been like a fan of, even NBA, like I don't go for a team. I've always been a fan of just players, like, and the way their play style is.
Who's been like your favourite basketballer as a kid?
Probably Paddy.
Paddy?
Yeah, Paddy Mills growing up. I followed him a lot. Obviously being Australian was like awesome for me to see a guy, and especially seeing a guy that small, like, go to the NBA and then be successful in the NBA was awesome to see him. But then outside of that, not too many guys. Like I was like a South Dragons fan. South Dragons fan for a little bit. Yeah, Kavossi Franklin.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd be way too. You know him?
Yeah, Joe Ingles.
Really? You know Kavossi? Okay, yeah. So Kavossi was playing. He was one. I think I got a Kavossi Franklin jersey.
Yeah, right.
Still. So I was a fan of him, like, at the time.
Because they were big back then, the South Dragons.
Yeah. You know who really who came to the NBL who I loved, man, was Gary Irvin. Do you remember Gary Irvin?
Yeah.
Maybe. He was at Wollongong. I think he won MVP of the league.
So he played under Brendan Joyce for a bit, did he?
I can't.
Maybe.
I'd be lying if I said I knew that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gary came out. Funny thing is, I got this photo with Gary when he was at a Wollongong game. Sorry. I was at a Melbourne game and they were playing. Wollongong was down here playing, and I was able to, like, the players do the lap after the game.
Yeah.
And I got a photo with him then. And then I would have been maybe 12, 13. And then I reckon like 4 years later, I went up to Adelaide as, what was that? Was that before? I don't even think it was. Maybe I was 16.
Yeah.
And Joey got me up there to come up and just train for a little bit. Joey Wright, that is.
Joey Wright, yeah.
He got me up to train there for like a month, I reckon. And Gary was playing for Adelaide at the time. Joey had him.
Yeah.
And so it was like crazy for me to be around him and like just see how he goes about his business. I ended up actually showing him the photo, and he just thought it was funny. But it was cool to see, like, he was kind of like a LeBron to me when I was playing. When I was watching him, and then to kind of be in the same locker room for a little bit was pretty surreal. So
Joey Wright is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Obviously now not coaching anymore. He's doing youth coaching and transition sports in Adelaide. Shout out to the man, Joey Wright. What was that like for him to give you a call up when you're like 16, 17 years old and go, hey man, come to Adelaide and we'll put in some work?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It actually started before that. So this is a really long story, but I'll keep it as short as possible. When I was 13, I think, I went to a camp called the 5-Star Camp. It was like out at Keysborough, so here in Melbourne. And the 5-Star Camp was like an American camp that came over. It was a bunch of American coaches, high school, college. And it was like 5 days. It was 1 week, all 5 days, Monday through Friday. And it was like 9 p.m. till 3 p.m. So like all day. I mean, sorry, 9 a.m. till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Like full day for 5 days, which is probably unheard of these days. You wouldn't be doing that. But like for me, I was like, this is a perfect camp, sweet.
Yeah.
Like and I just wanted to experience like American basketball, American coaching,
Yeah.
all that. So I go to that camp when I'm young, and Joey happened to be one of the coaches. I think he was coaching the Blaze at the time.
Yeah. He given Gibbo, Golding, Mitch Creek, all these kinds of like similar opportunities as kids too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was just doing like some ball handling drills, and then after the first day on the Monday, he just came up to me and was like, meet me at the gym tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm just like, yeah, cool. So I, of course, get there 6 a.m. Joey's there waiting for me already. Like, he's probably warming up himself. I don't really remember, but I think he was putting shots up himself. But he's waiting for me 6 a.m. Boom, we work out like 6 till 7:30. Had a little break. I think we got some more shots up, and then the camp started 9, and we go 9 till 3, the whole thing. And we did that every day from Tuesday through to Friday after that in the morning. And then Adonis Jordan was another coach who was there, American coach, played at Kansas, played in the NBL as well, I think, for the Magic, South East Magic. And he stayed out here. He was a coach, kind of jumped in on the workouts as well. So like now I've got like 2 high-level guys coaching me in the morning, and I'm 13 years old, and it was like the craziest thing ever to me. And Joey kind of just took me under his wing from that day. I went up to the Blaze when I was 13 or 14, I think. Me and my brother went up there. And like Goulding was like the 7th man.
Yeah.
Gibbo was the man up there. Kadee was a rookie. Anthony Petrie, James Harvey. There's a whole bunch of guys. Tommy Garlop. There's a whole bunch of guys up there, man. Mark Worthington.
Yeah.
There was a lot of guys up there. I was just watching.
What about the luck of Werther, though? You go to like 5 clubs that just instinctually when he gets there are all defunct.
Poor Werther. Werther's the man, though. So
yeah, he is.
And had a super successful career as an individual. So we can't put that
all
on him. Yeah. But so I was up there around those guys, and then I just kind of stayed in contact with Joey. But again, I wouldn't say like, yes, Joey was a massive help for me, but you know, like I got kind of into the NBL system at age of 16 with him, and didn't play my first game until I was 25. So
it's just 9 years of learning IQ and things like that.
Right. So I definitely didn't get a handout from Joey, or he didn't, put me in a position where he's like, this is like, I'm going to play you right now. Like even when I went to Adelaide after college as a DP under him, I didn't play a single game or a single minute, I don't think. So like, I still need to have that conversation with him and ask him why. But you know what I mean? Like it could seem that, Joey's kind of just giving me this chance, and I kind of ran with it from there, but furthest from the truth, and it's just been like a grind and just working every day to try and just beat the next guy out. And it happened when I was 25. Didn't happen when I was 18, like a lot of guys, or even 20, 21. Didn't even happen then. So, I think it just shows, hopefully that can kind of inspire some young kids who are, or not even young kids who are even just like 21, 22, like grown men, still trying to make it, that they can see my path and my blueprint, what I've done, and that, you can still make it at a certain point, and not only just make it, but just really carve yourself out a career and be a presence in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. What about for someone like a Mason Gage, who's 21, 22 years old right now? I think he's coming into his 2nd or 3rd year pro with the Tigers, NBL1 South. He's got Jack Purchase. They've got a bunch of former NBL experience there, and obviously under Gazy, the legend. What would be your advice to Mason to keep pursuing that NBL dream?
I think it's just, one, you kind of got to search for like the right fit in terms of what NBL team you would fit into. And also, if your game is a certain way, it's more than likely that how you play in NBL 1 is not how you're going to play in the NBL. Yeah. Like for me,
it's a big step down.
Yeah, well, it is a big step down, but like I go to, like you mentioned before, I go to the Marlins and up in NBL 1 North, and I average 24. Yeah. I don't go to Cairns, Taipans and go, they're not expecting me to go in there and average 24. Like, if anything, they're expecting quite the opposite. Like, they're not they didn't actually bring me in for offense. Like my offense was a bonus, I think, the fact that I could shoot the ball and score the ball, and that was a factor. But for the most part, it was like just come in and play defense. Like come in and like I think I had a game before I played in the NBL23 when I came in, the first game that I ever suited up and started in. We played Melbourne, and I just 40 was like, man, just go in and just pick up Delhi full court and just piss him, like just annoy him basically. So like first possession, tip off, boom, they tip the ball off, Delhi gets the ball, dribble up the court, and I'm just like, just right up in his like chest.
What's it like when you're like looking up at Delhi or looking towards him?
It was cool. I mean, at the time, it was massive. You know, like we're in the locker room before the game, and like we've got the matchups on the board, and it's like Delhi's name and my name like next to each other. And this is my first start in the NBL. I'm like, damn, you know, this is cool. But
it's big, yeah.
At the same time, like I think I look at myself as right there. Like I'm looking at those guys eye to eye, and once you actually get out there and then start playing, like a lot of that stuff goes away and those thoughts go away. But it made it easy for me just having that one job of like, all right, just go out here. It doesn't matter what happens on offense. I'm just going to go and just pester this guy the whole game pretty much. Like foul him if I have to, do whatever. And then that keeps me on the court. So like going back to what you're saying, like a guy like Mason or even a guy of that age in the NBL 1, no matter who it is, I think it's just like, what can I do to stay on the court in the NBL at that level? And it most likely is not. It's not most likely. It's definitely not going to be scoring the ball because they bring guys in like DJ Hogue and like
Shannon Scott, did you recall?
Yeah, well, that's on our team. But if you look around the league, like Bryce Cotton, Derek Walton, like all these like elite scorers.
Rajon Tucker,
world-class scorers basically.
Yeah.
They're bringing those guys in to score. They're not bringing in a kid from NBL 1 to score. So it's like, what can I do to impact my team and impact winning basically? And like once you can figure that out, then you just got to double down on it. For me, it was playing full court defense, picking up full court, and now that's a thing that now that my game is expanded into, okay, yeah, I can pass, yeah, I can score, yeah, I can run a team. Like a steady diet of full court defense is still what I have to do every single day. Like that's now just the normal. So if I stop doing that, now there's a chance I'm out of the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think for those guys at that age, it's just trying to find your niche in the league and just double down on it. Whether it's rebounding, picking up full court, man, even just clapping, being a good teammate, like that might get you on a team, and then they might see your talent from there. Who knows?
Yeah. So what was it like when you finally, after 8 or 9 years of hard work, pursuing that NBL dream, you get that opportunity and you get that first pro contract?
What was it like?
Yeah, what was that feeling like inside of you?
It was pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. I felt like I didn't see it coming, but like throughout it was a bit of a slow burn because the Marlin season was happening and I was playing well, and I was gaining a bit of traction in terms of like the fans in Cairns, like starting to I guess get behind me a little bit. So I could kind of see it coming a little bit. So it was a bit of a slow burn, but I mean, until it really happens, like
nothing was guaranteed.
Yeah, nothing was guaranteed, but just huge, man. I've always been a guy who's just like, what's next? What's next? So as soon as I signed that, it's like, all right, now how am I going to fit in this team? So I'm actually not great at like reflecting, like taking a second and being like, holy moly, like I've come from, this is like 8 or 9 years of work here in this one contract.
It's like this is the next goal.
Yeah, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I think I was really much of that mindset, like, man, let's just get to it and let's just keep working, and how can I now be a starter one day, or how can I be, well, it wasn't that right away, but it's like, all right, now how can I work to actually get on the court? Like it's one thing to get a contract, it's another thing to actually be a player and a presence and affect a game and affect winning. So my mindset just went straight to that. Like, what am I going to do now, basically? What's next?
Absolutely. Ben, best of luck for the NBL 1 South season, and best of luck for securing that contract for NBL 24. We can't wait to see you out on the court, hopefully here in Melbourne.
Thank you, my man. And thanks for having me, Maxie.
Thanks, Ben. Stay tuned, everyone, for some more Sporting Max. We'll see you soon.